points in a hurry if you get off course.
Well, Dave, we talked about it in the opening, an important weekend for William Byron, and here's the replay here. What happens is Rico Abreu has actually spun in front of him off the course. I think that kind of worries him a little bit. He gets off, his left rear tire gets off in the dirt. He spins out. Luckily, doesn't hit anything right here. Somebody's off the course right there.
Yeah, that's the 6car of Amos, and taking a shortcut because quickest way to get back on.
But just what I said, look at again, there's another car off the course here. Hasn't got any damage, didn't hit anything, just lost some spots.
So Amos doesn't appear to have any trouble with his car, so not a lot of reason to push right here.
No, not really. I mean, you know, Dalton Sargent has run a lot of road courses. He ran Sonoma. We got Christian Salaya off the course right here in the 09.
He must have just maybe blown that corner, turns it around, heads it back the wrong direction to get it headed the right direction.
And back on course he goes.
Hopefully not right in front of somebody, and no, he's good to go right there. So driver from Mexico gets it righted and used trouble, but he got his car righted and is still in contention for a good finish. This happened while we were away. We had the halfway break, we had a restart, and Rico Abreu got off track and off into the grass. Now that was a big bonus for the 22 of Austin Hill, who when we went to break was at the front of the field down to the end of the 55 lap event here this afternoon. Sargent locks it up, and he's off course, and Heckert inherits the lead. Dalton Sargent loses the lead after overcooking it into that turn.
There's the mistake that Scott Heckert we talked about that he was just waiting for, and you just mentioned that he was putting a little bit more pressure on Dalton Sargent. Dalton Sargent looking in his mirror a little bit too much. Scott Heckert hits his line that he wants to hit lap after lap and doesn't overdrive it. He will run J.J. Haley back down.
Oh, and he may have just done the opposite of what you said he needed to do. He's off track.
Dave, it's hard to make out whether he's got a right rear tire on the car right there or not. I don't think he does. I'm not sure whether he's lost a hub or just lost a wheel completely, but I don't see a tire on there.
This is right before pit road, so he's going to cut across the track and get down there, but yeah.
Look at the sparks coming off the bottom. There's no right rear tire on that car right there.
Oh, my goodness. Scott Heckert, who led the majority of the race this afternoon, had been challenged by his teammates, and now it appears his car itself is challenging him as it's lost the right rear wheel. He brings it to pit lane.
Oh, this is an unbelievable disappointment for Scott Heckert and this entire team. The caution's out now. There's got to be debris on the racetrack. I don't know whether he got into a wall or just a hub broke, tire, I mean, a wheel broke. Something has gone wrong drastically on the right rear. And we got another car, Kenzie Ruston.
Yeah, she's in the tire barrier.
Deep into the tire barrier.
Wow.
Boy, you've got to drive awful far off the course to get into a tire barrier that deep.
So Kenzie's 4-car sits resting against the tire barriers, and that's the reason for the caution.
Boy, she did not need this. You know, she's having a great run today. She was running 9th at the time that she went off the course here, and she's right on the edge. She's top 10 in the points overall. So, you know, with 3 races to go, you know, you want to finish the season strong.
Had led the field back to green with 5 to go, but got off track right here after he had been passed by Hill. Little contact maybe from his teammate Sargent. And the debris from Haley's car brought out the caution, which brings us back to this restart, which is our first attempt at a green-white checkered, Frank.
Yeah.
Backing up the brakes, and Hill gets on the curb. He's into Sargent. Sargent is off. Casgrala is off, and Austin Hill retains the lead. Wow! Contact and action in the first turn, and look at the 42 of Sergio Pena. He's up into second, and Brandon Godovic is off track. What a restart. That was crazy.
William Byron all the way to 3rd now. The points are even looking better for him. The 51 off. The 51 did not. Here it is right here. Here's a replay of it. Look at him. The Austin Hill locks up that inside, but he's just giving way too much speed, and he uses the old theory of 8 tires are better than 4. And slides Dalton Sargent off into the grass, and off he's going to go, possibly to victory. But now, because of the scoring loops, there's only one at the start-finish line. NASCAR is actually going to put Dalton Sargent back up here on the outside of the front row against
Byron. He'll take over 3rd. Oh, and contact behind him.
Sergio Pena got into Casgrala, put him off the course.
Totally off the course, but Cas comes back across.
William Byron. Oh no.
Damage to the championship leader right into Byron. Dale Quarterly trying to get by, but the 9 car is wounded.
Boy, Dale Quarterly, William Byron's lucky that Dale didn't go ahead and spin him off the
2. Coming back to the white flag, and he's off the curb again.
He's overshot the corner.
He loses it, and Sargent is off course as well. The 42 of Sergio Pena comes through. Hill trying to recover, but the lead is gone.
Wow, Austin Hill was so worried about Dalton Sargent coming back up there and giving him the bumper that he just overdrove the entire corner.
And now it is Sargent, Pena, Gralla, 1, 2, 3, as we get down to the white flag, coming across the start-finish line now.
Dave, they're going to decide this by who stays on the course here today.
Fastest part of the racetrack. Here comes your leader, Dalton Sargent, in the 51. He's awfully hot getting down there, and he's off course. He's off in the grass. Gralla moves through to the lead. Dalton Sargent just gave up the lead in the final lap, and they're spinning behind him. But back to the front. Now Pena, he's gotten around Gralla. Sergio Pena in the 42 has the lead of this race.
This Dale Quarterly getting back on the course. We're final lap here. We're coming to the checkers.
Remember, Sergio Pena substituting for Jay Beasley, who has been out sick for the last couple of races. Can Pena take it to victory for his friend? He's coming to the checkers this time.
Just stay on course here, Sergio. Don't do what everybody else has been doing. Don't overdrive the corners.
But Kaz Gralla in the 3 car is hungry, and he's got a couple of quarters left to do it, Frank.
Oh, and he's going to try to give him the bumper. He gave him the bumper. Can't get it. Can't give it enough to him.
Pena recovers. He's still got the lead in that white 42.
This is the corner that Austin Hill, the downhiller up here. This is an important corner.
And Gralla blows that corner. Pena now has a few car length lead over Gralla. Pena, who started the season hopeful that he'd have a full-time ride, had to give it up after just 1 race. He's come back to substitute for his friend Jay Beasley and take this Rev Racing machine to victory lane if he can. Just a couple of quarters left for Sergio.
Boy, both these guys are giving it everything they've got right here.
Sergio Pena now exits the final corner down to the finish line. Sergio Pena will win at Virginia International Raceway. Unbelievable, Frank.
What a dramatic last 5 laps this race day. We've had every lead change you can imagine right here, and it was just the last man standing, Sergio Pena.
And look at Gralla pulling up next to him. He appreciates what just happened. He could have dumped him. He gave him a little tap, tried to get by, but then couldn't get back close to the 42 car. We see championship leader Byron, who had contact from Kaz Gralla, coming back on track. That right front tire, Frank, is now gone completely, and he doesn't make it back to the start-finish line.
Yeah, that's not great, you know, for him and the points implication here. He was going to have an opportunity to really extend his lead. This is going to keep it a little bit closer.
We are worn out. What a finish at Virginia International.